Dear students, in this video I am going to explain about the program number 7, which is implement using functions to check whether the given number is prime and display the appropriate message. No built-in math function used. Okay, so this is the program. We need to check for a prime number will be given. We need to check whether the given number is prime or not using user defined functions. So here it is written like function, but it is going to be the user defined function. No built-in function should be used. Okay, so this is the program. Let us see. First we need to analyze what is this prime number, what is this user defined function. Okay, so let us go there. Yes, so look at the right side of your screen. So this is the definition of a prime number. What is a prime number? A number which is divisible by 1 and itself. So the number is divisible successfully by 1 and itself only, then that particular number is called as the prime number. Okay, I think all are aware what is a prime number. Okay, so then that means what? So each and every prime number definitely must and should have 1 and the number itself as the factors for that particular number. So that means every prime number will have exactly 2 factors. So if it is more than 2 factors, then it is not going to be a prime number. So these are some of the examples. Here I have given some example prime numbers: 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, etc. Okay, so these are the prime numbers. Let us see how many factors these numbers have got. Okay, so here is the example. 2 has got factor 1 and 2 itself. 3 has got factors 1 and 3 itself. 5 has got factors 1 and 5 itself, and 7 has got factors 1 and 7 itself. Okay, so that is the reason why these numbers are called as the prime numbers. In the above cases, all the numbers are having exact 2 factors, since they are prime numbers. Okay, so then let us see what are not called as prime numbers. Okay, if a number has got more than 2 factors, okay, so if a number is divisible by other than 1 and itself, if it divisible by any factor other than 1 and itself, then it is not a prime number. That means definitely these kind of numbers will have more than 2 factors. That is why they are not the prime numbers. Okay, so let us see the example here. Example, these are the numbers I have taken, like 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 12, 14. These are all not prime numbers, because you see here 4 has got factors 1, 2 and 4. The definition says, the prime number definition says, if it is a prime number, it should be divisible by 1 and itself. Okay, so but here you see there is one more factor, which is nothing but 2 here. So 2 can divide 4. Okay, so likewise 6. So in 6 we have got 4 factors, 1, 2, 3, 6. So see here the factors 2 and 3. So these factors also divides 6 successfully. Okay, so more than 2 factors here. That means it has got other than 1 and itself. Okay, so 8 also got 2, 4 in between, and 9 also got 3. So that is the reason why these numbers are called as not prime numbers. Okay, so in the above cases, all the numbers are having more than 2 factors, hence they are not prime numbers. Okay, so this is the definition of a prime number. Okay, so then now I think you understood what is prime number. So any number if you give, it has to say, suppose if I give 2, your program has to tell 2 is a prime number. So if I give 4, so 4 is not a prime number. If I give 10, 10 is not a prime number. If I give 11, 11 is a prime number, something like that. Okay, then let us see what is user defined function. Okay, so this is the definition of a user defined function. A function which is defined by the user for their intended purpose is called as user defined function. A function which is defined by the user. The user of the particular program is going to write his code or her code for their intended purpose. Okay, so those functions are called as user defined, because the name itself suggests the function which is defined by the user itself. That is the reason why they are called as user defined functions. So here are some of the examples. Okay, so factorial is a user defined function. Area underscore circle is a user defined function. Is prime is a user defined function. So like this. Okay, so what are the points to be remembered? So these are the points to be remembered. Number one, function name should be a valid identifier in C. Function name should be a valid identifier in C. Okay, so that means you know what are the rules in order to frame an identifier. Okay, so valid name in C program. Okay, then the next one, you should know what are the components of user defined functions, or what are the elements of user defined functions. The number one, I told all these things during we have discussed all these things during the theory part. Then too, I am just explaining you for the benefit of those who are not there in the class. Okay, so first one is function prototype or function declaration. This is one of the important element. Then next one is function call. There must and should be a function call. Then function definition. Okay, so these are the three important components or elements of user defined functions. So let us see, let us identify these things in this program. So this is the function prototype or function declaration. Okay, so just like all other variables, we need to declare the function before its use. We need to inform, or we need to instruct the compiler that this is the function I am going to use, or I am going to define elsewhere within the program. So this is the return type. Integer is the return type of the function. Is prime is the valid identifier, that is the function name, and this is going to be the argument. Okay, so within the function header, this is going to be the argument. I am passing only one argument, so which is integer. That's why I given like int. That's it. Okay, so along with this, you can give dummy variable also. So for example, n, int n. This is also correct. So this just acts as, this particular n just acts as a dummy variable there. So actually this is not required. Okay, so only the data type is enough. Okay, so next, void main. Okay, so next is going to be the void main. Okay, so in this you can see, the function call. So this is the function call, is prime. We are passing the argument num. Okay, so this is the function name. Along with the parameter, we are passing the parameter. Okay, so when you pass the parameter, the control will be transferred to the function is prime. Okay, so here there are two things you should remember. One is pass by value, pass by reference. So in this case, we are passing the value of num to the function. So this is the function definition. Okay, so function call. So this is the function definition. These three things you need to remember whenever you want to write the what are called as user defined functions. So the first one, I'll repeat. The first one is the function prototype or function call, function declaration. Function prototype, function declaration. The second one is the function call. So this is the function call. Then the third one is going to be the function definition. Okay, so where the function definition will be having the body, okay, along with some executable statement inside. Okay, so but whereas the function prototype does not have any body, but it has to be terminated by a semicolon. Okay, so this is the return type for the function definition. Return type, function name, then the argument, then function body starts here, ends here. Okay, so this is the program which checks the given number whether it is prime or not. Okay, So let us see how this particular program works. Okay, so read a number. It's very simple program. Try to understand. Okay, just I'll go line by line. So integer num, I want to check whether given number is a prime number or not. Okay, so next, this is the greeting message what you will receive on your screen. Enter the number. You will come to know what you need to enter. So you need to enter a number, any positive number you can enter. Then next there is a condition, that is if, that is decision statement. Okay, if is prime, okay, is prime num, is prime, then pass the value of num to is prime. Is prime is a function. So this is the function notation. Left parenthesis and the right parenthesis. This is called as the function notation. Inside there are some arguments. Only one argument is here. Okay, so we are passing the value of num. Whatever the value we read here in the scanf statement, that value is going to be passed on to the is prime function. Okay, so the control will be transferred to this particular function definition now. Okay, so this num value will be passed on to num. This is called as the formal argument. Okay, so this is the actual argument, whereas the particular function definition, whatever there in the function definition, in the header part, okay, so those variables are called as the formal arguments or formal parameters, and this is the local. Okay, so which is inside the function. Any variables which are declared within inside the function body, then they are called as the local. Okay, then the value of num is passed. The value of num is so and so. Then finally we are going to check. Okay, so here within the function definition, if num is equal to 0 or num is equal to 1, then return 0. Okay, when it returns 0, okay, so the value of 0 will be returned back to the function. So if it is 0, that means if is prime of num, okay, so is prime of num, that means it is always looks for the positive value. So positive value is 1. Okay, so sorry, the value, it looks for the true value. So true value is 1. Okay, false value is 0. So since it is returning the false value means the else part. So it says the particular number is not a prime. Okay, so then the other thing here. So this is the for loop. What I'm doing here is I'm starting the for loop with 2, then the less than the number. So I'm going to just truncate. I'm going to avoid the 1 and the same number itself. That is why I have not taken 1 here, and also I have not taken the same number. If you do like less or equal to, if you write like less or equal to, then that means this number also will be considered. Just I am discarding those two. Okay, apart from that, in between numbers, so for example if you take 6, I am avoiding 1 as well as 6. Okay, so then what are the possible factors which are between these numbers 1 and 6? So there is 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the factors. I am going to try with these. If any one of these factors are going to be divide this number successfully, then it is said to be said to be not a prime. Okay, so likewise just I am going to find. Okay, so here considering the value of I is equal to 2, is it 2 less or equal to the number? Then if any factor from 2 to num minus 1, okay, any factor divides the particular num, okay, successfully, that if the remainder is 0, then it returns 0. When it returns 0, definitely it is the else part. So when it is in the else part, then it is not a prime. That number is not a prime. Otherwise, okay, so it returns the value 1. When it returns a value, then if is prime, this particular call, the function call, will be substituted with the return value. You should keep it in mind. See, I told you here it is going to return 0. If such is the case, it is going to return 0 here, otherwise it returns 1. Okay, so what do you mean by this? So return 0 means the function call, this is the function call, is it not? The function call, whole function call gets substituted with the value 0. So that means if 0, so if 0 means else part. Okay, if 1, so if the function call substituted with 1, then if 1 means true, so if true means is a prime, so likewise. Okay, so then we'll come back to the tracing part of it. So let us see the trace part of it. Okay, the control always starts with the main function. The control is in main function now. So input the value of number. So this is the value. Okay, so this is the number and this is the value. I am going to input the value 5. Okay, say for example, then call the function is prime. So here we are calling the function is prime. This is the function call is prime. Okay, so then call the function is prime of num by passing the value of argument num. So that is nothing but 5. So we are passing the value. Control transfer to the function is prime. Okay, so when the control is transferred to the function is prime along with the value, okay, so then the function definition is going to be activated. Okay, so the control will be transferred to the function definition, right? Now there, what is the first condition here? You just look at it here. Okay, what is the first condition? The first condition is if number is equal to 0 or number is equal to 1. So you cannot have factors for that, number 0, number 1. That's why they are not called as the prime numbers. So return 0, say directly they are not prime numbers, or it is not a prime number. Okay, so that is how we need to check. So here number is it equal to 0 or number is it equal to 1. Okay, so is it true here? So number means the 5. Is it 5? Okay, so likewise, just a minute. The same thing I'll repeat again. Is 5 equal to 0 or on 5 equal to 1. Okay, so it is false, is it not? Okay, so this condition num, just substitute the value of num. So num is nothing but 5 here. So 5, see here. Okay, so 5, is it equal to 0? No. Or is it 5 equal to 1? 5 equal to 1? No. So false. So false means next for loop we are going to start for loop with the 2, first initial value 2, and how long? 5 minus 1. The value of num is here 5 minus 1. 5 minus 1 means 4. Okay, so then when it is in the first pass, okay, first pass when I is equal to 2 is I less or equal to 2. Okay, so I less or equal to, sorry, I less or equal to 4 here, is it not? Okay, so I less or equal to 4. That means is it 2? Substitute the value of value for I. So I is 2 here. So is it 2 less or equal to 4? Okay, true. So if it is true, then inside, come back to the program code here. Inside you have this. Okay, so just divide that particular number, mod that number with the factor I. Okay, so then if you get 0, then return 0, otherwise the loop has to be continued. Okay, so here see, is num mod I equal to 0. So that is nothing but, is it 5 mod 2 equal to 0? That is nothing but, so 5 mod 2 is 1, is it not? 2 2s are 4. 5 minus 4 is 1. The remainder of this 5 mod 2 is 1. So is it 1 equal to 0? False. Okay, when it false, then the value of I is going to be incremented in the for loop. Okay, so by 1, then for loop continues. So next, go to the next pass. I is equal to 3. So is 3, the value of I is 3 less or equal to 4. Okay, so true. If it is true, then again check the condition. Num mod I. So num is 5. Sorry, 5 mod 4. Is it 5 mod 4 equal to 0? So 5 mod 4, 5 mod I is 3. Okay, so 5 mod 3. Is it 5 mod 3 equal to 0? Check it here. So 5 mod 3 is 2. 3 ones are 3. 5 minus 3 is 2. Okay, so here you see 2, is it 2 equal to 0? False. So when it is false, then increment the value of I by 1 in the for loop. Okay, so for loop continues. So for loop is going to continue. Okay, so then I becomes 4. So again check the condition in the for loop. Is it 4 less or equal to 4? Yes, the value of I is not less than 4, but it is equal to 4. Still it is true. So when it is true, then the condition has to be tested here. Is num, that is 5 mod 4, the value of I is 4, is it not? Okay, so 5 mod 4 equal to 0. Then that means, is it 5 mod 4 equal to 0? That means 5 mod 4 is nothing but 1, because 4 ones are 4, 5 minus 4 is equal to 1. So 1, is it 1 equal to 0? False. Then increment the value of I by 1. So the value of I is going to be incremented. Now the value of I previously was 4, it was 4. Okay, so now it is incremented by 1, that means 5. So loop again continues. I is equal to 5. Is 5 less or equal to 4? It is false, because I value is greater than 4. So naturally the for loop terminates here. So the for loop is going to terminate. So after terminating the for loop, what it does? So is prime function returns value 1 back to the calling program. Okay, so wherever it is called, so it is called here, is it not? It is called here. So it is going to return the value 1 for this particular run. Okay, so the value 1 is going to be substituted for the is prime num. Okay, so when 1 is substituted here, then if 1, yes, it is true, then printf percentage d, that means the number what we entered is 5 in the run 1. Okay, so 5 is prime. It will write, it will print 5 is prime. Okay, you got it? So this is the this is the output what we are going to get. Okay, the control is in main. Once it transfers the value back to the calling program, okay, or calling function, then the control will be in the main function or calling function, calling function. Okay, so there is prime of 5 substituted with the value 1. Okay, so then the condition is going to be tested like is 1. So is 1 means yes, true, then it prints 5 is prime. So this is how you will get. Okay, then we'll see the run 2. Okay, the same way run 2, the control first it will be in the main. Okay, so then input the value. I am going to input the value for num is equal to 6. Okay, 6 I have inputted. Okay, then call the main, call the function is prime of num. So 6 I am passing to is prime function. Then now the control is in is prime function. Okay, so the control will be in this. This is the subprogram. This is the user defined function. Okay, so then let us check the first thing. Is it that particular 6 equal to 0, or is it 6 equal to 1? False. Is it not? Just substitute the values here for num as well as for here also for num. Okay, so 6, is it equal to 0? No. 6 again, 6, is it equal to 1? No. False. So if false, then for loop is going to be activated. Okay, so for loop executes now. So then I starts with 2. So is it 2? 2 to 6 minus 1. So 1 I have avoided, as well as the number 6 itself. Okay, so I am checking with other than 1 and itself. Okay, so other factors in between 1 and 6. Okay, so I am going to start with 2. Okay, so I is equal to 2 is 2 lesser equal to 5. Okay, so 2 lesser, because 6 minus 1, this is the final condition, is it not, in the for loop? See here. So I less than num means it is 6 minus 1 only. Okay, so less than 6 means what? 5, is it not? Okay, so likewise, so here 2, is it 2 less than or equal to 5? True. If it is true, then the condition has to be tested. What is the condition? Is num, so num means 6, is num mod I value is 2 equal to 0. Okay, just I have written here, is it 6 mod 2 equal to 0? Okay, then simplification of this, 6 mod 2 is 0. Is it 0 equal to 0? True. If it is true, then is prime function returns a value 0 back to the calling program. Okay, the control transfers back to the main program now. Okay, so from here the control is going to passed on to the main function wherever it is previously called. So this is prime function call is going to be substituted with 0. Okay, so if 0 means it is going to be else part, so it will print %d, that is 6 is not a prime. 6 is not a prime. This is the output. You can see here is prime 6 substituted with the value 0. Okay, so is 1, it checks for 1 always. So if it is 0, 1 false. If it is false, then it is going to be the else part. Okay, so else part, in the else part it will print 6 is not prime. Okay, so this is the program. So let us see the execution of this. Okay, let us clear all this. Yeah, compile. I'm going to compile with the command cc prg7.c. I don't have any errors. Then what I'll do, I'll type a.out ./a.out in order to view the output. Enter the number. I can enter any number. So since we have taken some numbers here, that is 5 and 6, so I'll enter 5 first. See, 5 is prime. Got it? Then one more run. This time you give 6. Okay, 6 is not a prime. Okay, 6 is not a prime. Then one more run if you want, you can go for that. So give, for example, 11. 11 is a prime. Yes, 11 is a prime because the factors of 11 are 1 and itself. Let us see 9. Okay, so 9 is not prime. Okay, because the factors of 9 are like 1, 3, then 9. So the definition says if it is a prime number, the prime number can be divisible by only 1 and itself. But here 3 is another factor. Okay, the other factor which is dividing 9 successfully, that is why it is not a prime. Okay, so this is what about the program number 7. So we have completed the programs in part A. Okay, then shortly we will see the programs of list, that is part B. Okay, let us go back to the program prg7.c. Okay, so this is the program. This is the function, user defined function. So this is the main function. Okay, so main function here, it acts as a calling function. So this can be called as calling function. This is called by function. So this you should remember, calling function, called by function. So what is calling function? A function calls another function, that is a calling function. The function, if a function called by other function, then it is called as called by function. Okay, then again I'll repeat 3 important components of what are called as the user defined function. Okay, so one is function prototype or function declaration, then function call, then function definition. So these are the 3 things. Okay, there may be a possibility that without a function prototype you can have programs. Yes, of course. Okay, so how to do that, I'll show you here. This is not required. If you define your function before okay, so before the main function, if you define a function, then that will act as the function prototype as well as function definition. Okay, by you doing this, okay, you can avoid one more statement, that is function prototype or function declaration. You need not to give function declaration for these kind of programs. You can write like this or the other method what I showed. Okay, so here just again I'll run to make sure whether this program will work or not. So see, there are no errors. Okay, then added out 5 is a prime, then 6 not a prime. Okay, so by this what you got now, PRG 7.c, what you understood by this, function prototype is not mandatory if you define the function first before the main function. Okay, otherwise if you define the function after the main function, then function prototype is a must. Okay, just I'll show you again. I'll take off this, I'll print this. Okay, now there is no function prototype, is it not? Only main function is there, then sub function is there. Okay, user defined function. Now I'll save it again. I'll go back to the terminal. I'll try to compile it. See, it is showing the error now. Okay, so what is that warning? Implicit declaration of function is prime. That means we have not declared this is prime, but before the declaration we are trying to use this particular function name. So that is why compiler is in a dilemma. Okay, what type of function it is, what is the return type, how many arguments that particular function is going to pass. Okay, so those things are to be known well in advance to the compiler. So that is the reason it is saying the error there. Okay, so go back to the program, gedit prg7. There you can write this is the return type, then the function name is prime, then the argument I am passing only one argument, that is the int type. So this is the correct way how you need to do. If you are not going to define your function before the void main, it is compulsory that you should give a function prototype. So what is this function prototype? Function prototype or function declaration helps the compiler to know what is the return type of that particular function, what is the name of the function, and what is the number of arguments, and also what is the order in which they are passing. Okay, so that will be known to the compiler well in advance, so that the correct function is going to be invoked whenever the function call invokes. Okay, right, this is about the program number 7. So we'll see the rest in the next video. Okay, thank you, bye bye.